You know, they had a quote from this episode that said basically something along the lines of, they've basically stood in the same spot 930 years apart. Who else could say that? I thought that was a cool quote. I'm going to change it a little bit. Who else has directed both one of my favoriteest Star Trek movies, which was First Contact, and one of the worst Star Trek of any episodes I have ever seen, including Spock's brain? Yes, yes, Jonathan Frakes. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trek Canon. So today we're going to be talking about Discovery Season 3, Episode 3, People of Earth. Now, this is going to be a hard one for me, people. It's going to be a hard one for me because right off the bat, I'm going to just say I hate it. I hated this episode. I hated everything about this episode besides that quote. And that was in like the last 3 minutes. I hated so People of Earth. Let's dive into this. Let's just talk about it. I had to write this down. Normally I watch the first episode and then I go back and I watch it for the purposes of reviewing it or for talking about it as far as how it goes into canon, which means I had to watch this episode. Excuse me. I had to watch this episode twice. Because the first time, honestly, I didn't believe that I couldn't have seen what I seen, and I did. I was actually seeing it. So let's talk about this, man. So basically, they went into a little bit more about what happened during the burn, not as far as what caused the burn, but as far as the life that was lost, in the millions, anything that had an active warp core, the dilithium exploded, which that answered a few of my questions because I had some questions like, okay, well, was that all dilithium? Was that just refined dilithium? Was that unrefined dilithium? So did that mean some moons or planets, blew up? But they said it was just refined dilithium. I mean, dilithium used in active warp cores, which is refined dilithium. So the thing is, they've been trying to. Dilithium is scarce. They said that 700 years after they left, dilithium became scarce, which I already know dilithium is kind of hard to come by, but we found a way to reconstitute it. So that took away the need to have it mined and all that kind of stuff. Uh, I'm curious as to how they explain, how they're going to explain that. So they had many types of alternative warp drives. They had the soliton wave from the next generation. Um, they did find the Iconian gate, so they could have backward engineered that. Uh, it's slipstream, transwarp. There was a lot of things that they should have mastered within that 700 years. You know what I'm saying? They should have gotten off warp by the time the end of Voyager was over with by Endgame. So I'm that's a little weird to me. So Burnham crying. Oh my God, Burnham. I figured out that whenever Burnham is on screen, she's either going to screw up the episode for me, or she's going to be crying, which is probably going to screw up the episode for me. But this, she, whenever Burnham's in the episode, I think I don't like the episode. I think that whenever Burnham's not there, I actually kind of could get into the groove of what they're trying to do with the episode, But so look. So they get this signal right from Earth, from this Admiral Tall, all right. And so they like, all right, let's go and let's go and do this. So they take Booker and everything. They're gonna cloak the dilithium and everything, so they won't be a target, and they're gonna jump to Earth. Fine. They jump to Earth. They jump to Earth outside Saturn. When they jump, they look like they're right outside the orbit of Saturn. Okay, so, but within the next few sentences, they're within orbit of Earth. So that means they went from Saturn, past Jupiter, past Mars, all of this, which leads me to believe that Discovery was traveling faster than light, because that's the only way they can explain that particular distance in that amount of time. But that's neither here nor there. We already know that Buck Rogers writers write this series. So we understand from them entering orbit that this big old this planet-wide net comes up, and we're introduced to what are they called? The United Force, United Earth Defense Force. Okay, which I guess was the reconstitution of Enterprise's Marines. Cool, no problem, no problem. We had a bunch of death in Federation. If we have dilithium, people coming from dilithium. The Romulans don't use dilithium; they use singularities. So I don't understand why the Romulans haven't taken advantage of this. I'm pretty sure they've adapted to that whole "we don't have a planet" thing after 700 years, but maybe they don't have the same issues with the Federation that they did. But Admiral Tall is this 16-year-old. Look, I'm just gonna give away spoilers because it's crazy. Cause I need to get this off my chest. The only other time I've ever seen a Trill Trill symbiote in a human was in Commander Riker in the Next Generation series, and it didn't work out that well for him. Even with medical attention, it was jacking up his metabolism because he's not designed to hold a Trill. So how's this human girl running around for 16 years holding a Trill? Not any Trill. I'm so glad that they didn't say Dax. Oh, I'm so glad that they didn't say the Dax symbiote. But she's holding this admiral that was a Federation Starfleet admiral, and she's running around as an investigator, and don't nobody know it. Like, so I got the first impression I got from her is that she's some kind of Wesley, instant crusher, Wesley, type of who was it? Ezri Dax type. I don't remember my symbiont memories right. So look. Adara's her name. Adara's cool name though. But we go back to Burnham and her choice making, her whole decision making skills. So instead of going up there and talk to the captain about, hey, listen, I got this plan, won't you have my back? We finna do this. She goes just go do it. What if Saru didn't understand what was happening? She trusted him. I mean, she expect him to trust her, but she ain't trusting him. Like, excuse me. Terrible. So, Burnham losing her Starfleetness after a year. I have never known a Starfleet officer to lose what makes them Starfleet after a year. Voyager was on a way home for 7 years. Everybody still maintained their Starfleet principles. Just anybody who was ever lost, anybody who was in situations where it tested their Starfleet principles, they always held on to their Starfleet principles. Even for the people who went over to the Marquis, they went over to the Marquis because of their Starfleet principles. Okay, so after a year, there was no Starfleet, so why am I uphold those principles? So I know they kind of trying to go the Andromeda route as far as coming out of time, and your whole governmental structure is gone. So now you have to rebuild it, but they going about the wrong way with Burnham. They going about the wrong way, man. It's just they trying to be Andromeda right now with the Buck Rogers writers, and it's not going on. What's up with Denver? She's questioning orders. Somebody really should walk her down to sick bay. Nobody really just, hey, Denver, you cool with that whole sick bay thing? What was going on? Nobody even ever talked to her about that. Going to Starfleet, well, what was once Starfleet, and they see this tree that they remember, and that's where the quote came from that I said at the beginning of the video. And that was the series. That was the episode. Like, I totally forgot. So what was this dude named Win? The bad guy, the antagonist of this episode, who decides to wear what can only be an insectoid helmet to make itself really look menacing. They've been trying to raid Earth for a while. Come to find out, these some humans from Titan, man. These some humans from Titan. Nobody didn't talk to them. They didn't talk to the Raiders. The Raiders didn't talk to the people on Earth. They've been fighting each other. Humans, just straight. So the people on Titan, instead of them coming up to Earth being like, hey, listen, we're from Titan. We get these things happen to us. Can we please have some dilithium? No, we gonna try to steal it. Oh man, come on, man. This is not Star Trek. This is not Star Trek. And instead of talking to them, instead of opening up dialogue, we just finna just hoard everything. We not finna help nobody. We finna become a xenophobe. Oh, well, Star Trek has always been uh, social commentary. So maybe this is some sort of social commentary about the current state of the United States. Maybe we have to. Maybe there's some kind of allegory of how we have to find ourselves, how we have to put ourselves back together, um, how we war with ourselves over resources when we're all the same, when we all should just be talking and saving. Hmm. Anyway, Discovery, you're not doing too good, man. But if I look at it from that light, I guess I could try. Anyway, thanks for joining. Please subscribe if you haven't. Ring the bell. Be cool.